Hi, I'm Mike Stanzik, and this is Water Polo Student, where we are all students of the game. In this video, which is part of the Water Polo Basics series, we're going to take a look at the numbering system for a man-up situation, a power play situation, or what we call advantage, an exclusion, a 6-on-5. So there's lots of names for this, but essentially we just had an exclusion foul and one of the members of the defense is now in the penalty area, or the re-entry area. And so now how are we going to attack the goal when we have an extra player? So I'm going to talk about a common configuration called a 4-2. And so we have 4 players that are nearest the goal in one line, and then we have 2 players that are away from the goal in a second line. And then the defense is going to set up in a 3-2 to defend this situation. And we'll take a look at that numbering system for both the offense and the defense. And that is the scope of our video for today. So I'm going to again go to the computer and we will go through some of these positions and how the setup looks. So here we have our setup, and again I'm going to just go ahead and put a spotlight on. And so, well actually before we do that, let's go ahead and do some boxing. So we have 2 zones. We have the zone that's near, oops, my mouse is being a little tricky at the moment, okay. So we have the zone that's near the goal. And so in this zone you can see that we have 4 blue players which are on offense, and we have 3 of the white players which are on defense. And so this is why it's called a 4-2 on the offensive side, because we have 4 players that on this line, near the 2-meter line. And then up here we have this second zone, and we have 2 players in blue. And so we have a 4-2 setup. So the numbering system is kind of interesting in the way that it kind of goes along. So it starts out in that left wing again, and then it goes across, and this is the US numbering system, just FYI. It goes across to the right post, and that goes 1, 2, 3. And then we come up to the top, 4, 5, and then finally end up here at 6. And so it's kind of got this, 1, 2, 3, and then this as 4, 5, 6. Okay, and so that's different than what we had in the regular 3-3 setup, and it doesn't transition easily either. It's not like we just shift one over and it's in the correct formation. The 2 and the 3 are both down here, so that makes it kind of interesting. Let's look really quickly at some of the names here and the locations. And so if I put on my little spotlight, so we have this forward left position. This is still called the left wing. And then on the forward right position, number 6, this is called the right wing. But these 2 players that now are in the center, they're both in the center and they're not both centers, if you will. And so we give them another name based on their location. And so their location here, this one's on a post, right? So we have this number 2 on a post, and this number 3 is also on a post. So they're lined up with one of the posts of the goal. And so we call this position 2-post, the 2-post position. So if your coach says, hey, go to the 2-post, this is where you want to be. 2 meters outside, just inside the post. And so that would be a good position for you to have a likely goal if you're able to get open and get the ball. And then the 3, likewise, is on a post, and we call that position the 3-post. So we have the left wing, the right wing, the 2-post, the 3-post. And then we have the 2 top positions. And so these are on the top, and so commonly they're called the left top and the right top. And so go to left top, go to right top, and go to left wing, go to right wing, go to the 2-post, go to the 3-post. And if we use that language on a team, then we're feeling pretty comfortable together as to where everybody should be going. And so that's the setup for the offense, and everybody is in legal positions as we're taking a look right here. So let's look at the defensive side. I'm not going to flip it. I think we'll just leave it as it is right now. Sort of have to kind of spin your perspective if you were looking at it from the position of the defense. But let's just look at it from here. So similarly to how we went across the bottom and then across the top for the offense, we're going to do the same thing for the defense in terms of the numbering. And so going across the bottom here, we have X1, X2, X3, and then going across the top, we have X4, X5, and it's reading left to right. Okay. And so if you think about it, the player that's sort of kind of connected to the left side of the bottom and the top side for the top, they have the same numbers. So X1 and 1 right here, we have X2 and 2 right here, we have X3 and 3 right there, and then we have X4 and 4, X5 and 5, and then 6 doesn't have one. You might say, oh, okay, well there's only 5 defenders, where is the one that guards 6? Well, there they are. They're in the penalty area, crying, being yelled at by their coach, who knows. So anyway, ready to go back in, getting excited, bring the juice. So that's the numbering system. It goes across the bottom, X1, X2, X3, and then across the top, X4, X5. Also note the starting positions here of the defense and offense. And so we can see that we sort of have this box that's lined up on the posts, and the 2 post positions are right inside the posts, and then the 2 top positions are here beyond the 6-meter line, sometimes a little bit in front of that 6-meter line, but they're kind of lined up here with the post positions. And then we have offset a little bit from the 2-meter line and kind of pushed in pretty close from the sidelines are our 2 wing positions to give us attack angles and passing angles to everybody when we're in this situation. The defense is, they have to kind of switch between 2 players because we're down a player. So depending on where the ball is, you have different assignments. And so in this case, the defense X1 is, has to go between 1 and 2. So they're in between 1 and 2. And they're also kind of close to the goal. So they'll be going sort of in all these 3 directions. X2 is primarily responsible for the positions 2 and 3 and guarding those. X3 is between 3 and 6. X4 is between 2 and 4, and X5 is between 3 and 5. So they have roles between those 2 players each, have an assigned set of roles for mostly those 2 players on the basic level. Well, my name is Mike Stanzik, and this has been another episode of Water Polo Student. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.